I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Claiborne County. At the Claiborne-Kennedy County Junior Livestock Show, royalty is on display, like Miss Skylar here. While she definitely has the look of a champion, a lot goes on behind the scenes. Are you waiting for your Christmas gifts to be delivered? So are porch pirates. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Corpus Christi. This holiday season, instead of being on the lookout for Santa, keep an even closer eye out for some Grinches trying to turn that ho 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 into a oh no no. It's the season of giving, and one local business is going above and beyond to do just that. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Portland, and I'll show you how some longtime neighbors are getting a very hands-on Christmas gift this year. It's one thing to learn about history, but experiencing it can take you to a whole other world. And that's exactly what Axe Aviation is bringing that opportunity to neighbors here. Pay attention to this sign, and these, and this one. They're warnings before getting to this light. The year's biggest meal will be over soon, but it creates another meal that's just as popular: delicious Thanksgiving leftovers. But there are some precautions you should take to make sure you don't get sick from that snack. Usually when we bike, we know what path we're taking or where we're going. But for a group of bikers, they're taking a trip from Bay Area Bicycles all the way here to Driscoll Children's Hospital to bring some smiles this holiday season. Have your friends, family, or coworkers caught the flu recently? They're not the only ones. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter on the West Side. Flu season is here. In fact, take a look at this graph. Cases in Nueces County are climbing, and we're not even at the halfway point of the flu season. If you're planning on stepping into a new you in 2025, step one is motivation. Next, get the right gear. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter. One of the most common and toughest New Year's resolutions is to get fit. I got some expert advice on how you can do that in a smart and healthy way. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter at H.M. King High School in Kingsville. Whether you're on the field or in the stands, you're probably showing a lot of school spirit this year. The boys are 4-0 this season, a record that the neighborhood hasn't seen in over 25 years. You can find all kinds of things at rummage sales. And here, you can fill up your bag with all the kinds of things you find. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter at the Salvation Army in Kingsville. Now, filling up this bag might soften your pockets, but it's also making a difference in your neighborhood. On Veterans Day, we honor those that served in many different ways. And for some, it's hitting the greens this year. The American Legion Post 99 will take another swing at one of their biggest fundraisers. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Corpus Christi. If you could tell your high school self one thing, what would it be? How about save money and time in college? If you were to have, while you might not be able to do that anymore, students across the Coastal Bend can, and they can do it as early as next semester with Del Mar College. 2024 election has become a sensory overload. Text messages, ads, candidate mailers, all with the same message: vote for me. Now, is it just me, or are you starting to feel some sort of election fatigue? I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Corpus Christi, where I spoke to several neighbors who share one message: they're ready for it to be over. If you're getting your holiday due touched up, you know you're going to be sitting here for a while, but these cut-ups know how to help you pass the time. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Kingsville. Despite the scissors, these guys aren't the snippy type. In fact, they're ready to offer the kindest cut of all. Just please, if you can just not touch the bangs. Thank you. Your clothes say a lot about you. But not everyone has the same access to show who they are with what they wear. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Kingsville, and I'll tell you about a special program that's aiming to help and how you can get involved. These workers behind me worked at the Kingsville Coffee Cup. Now they're teaming up with Spice Station, one of the top 10 restaurants in the state, to stir up something exciting for the community. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. Art gives physical form to what lives in our imagination. The results can be uplifting, inspiring, or terrifying. This sculpture by a student here embodies a tale many heard as children, a tale told in the dark. This is a story of La Llorona. From master chefs in the kitchen to motivated students in the classroom, life lessons are being taught at this rehab center. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Clayburgh County. I visited a program that's taking a different approach to rehabilitation. They're focusing on transformation, not treatment. I've heard from many residents who tell me stray cats seem to be a problem in the city. The city's health department has heard those complaints, and they plan to attack the problem at its source. Goodwill's grand opening is Thursday, April 18th with the ribbon cutting at 9 a.m. Customers are welcome to shop and take advantage of all the workshops being hosted after that. We're wishing all the kiddos here in Kingsville ISD as well as across the coastal bend a great school year from Chris 6. With your neighborhood news in Kingsville, I'm Makaylah Chavez, Chris 6 News. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Kingsville. Now, while I may not be a skater, and this was probably hard to watch for some, you can watch people who really know what they're doing at the 3rd annual Skate Jam. Back in December, I told you the city of Kingsville hired its new police chief, John Blair from Chicago. Blair has taken his oath of office. I sat down with him for a one-on-one interview to discuss his style of policing. And this is just one part of a bigger project. The city of Kingsville plans to have King Avenue from the Clayburgh County Courthouse to Kingsville City Hall resurfaced within the next 4 years. Instructors at Divine Moon Yoga say anyone is welcome to try out these practices. They hold sessions at the Texas Asian Museum every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. There will be 2 free 6-week courses a year moving forward. The first 6-week course will start in September and will offer different resources and presenters each week. With your neighborhood news in Kingsville, I'm Makaylah Chavez, Chris 6 News. The park project is expected to begin in about a month. With your neighborhood news in Bishop, I'm Makaylah Chavez, Chris 6 News. The family plans to continue providing care for those in need to make sure they know they're in good hands. Grab your bikes, tell a friend, and get ready because the Kingsville Noon Lions Club is back for their 19th Ride on the Wild Side bike tour. If you're looking for weekend plans, we got you covered, but you have to hold on to your horses, or in this case, bull. I'll tell you what event the District 6 VFW is holding for the first time ever for the community. The Biden administration made a change to Title IX, and it's caused some controversy. I headed to campus to talk to some students about what they think of this change that's months away. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter at Whataburger Stadium's youth field. And if you look closely, you'll notice that the youth ballpark has some new artificial turf, something that a few kiddos gotta check out. The local skating community is coming together for a good cause. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Kingsville, and I'll tell you how you can get on board. 2 years ago, Cynthia Garcia died in custody of the Clayburgh County Sheriff's Department. Now, her family is suing the county and Christus Spawn Hospital Clayburgh. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Clayburgh County. I obtained hours of video showing the events leading up to Garcia's death, and we want to warn you, some may find the video disturbing. We see clothing insecurity all around us all the time, whether it's clothes that don't fit right, or they're just not in good condition, or even if it's just not appropriate for the season. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Kingsville, and I'll show you how the Salvation Army is looking to help. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and these pictures in front of me are a testament to a beloved tradition. As Tamuk Homecoming Week continues, we take a look at what it's looked like for students and the community throughout the years.
Live out at H.M. King High School. Makaylah, I know y'all have been cheering out there and getting excited for the new school year.
Yes, we have, and if you can start to hear them right now, the band is playing. I have the drill and the cheer team behind me. I have some volleyball, some soccer players, some football players as well, some mathletes. We have the whole bunch right here.
I see you with your pom-poms there. How's it going?
Hey guys, that's right. I am learning a new dance right now. I'm not the greatest. I'm trying my best. These ladies have been so patient. So Chris 6 News, let's hear it. Chris 6 News. Woo! Thank you, ladies. And I have another cheerleader here with me, JB. Can you go ahead and come here? So JB is actually a freshman, and although you see her in a cheer uniform, that's not all she does. She just went to College Station this past weekend. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Makaylah Chavez here at H.M. King High School in Kingsville, joined by the Brahma Band. Brahma Band, go ahead and play me something. But that's not all who's joining me. I also have CEO of the United Way of the Coastal Bend, Stephanie Jordan. Thank you so much for being here, Steph, and joining us today. You know, these donations, can you tell me a little bit about how they're going so far and how people can still donate? Absolutely soaked, but that was only for a little bit. Right now, again, the conditions have changed. Beautiful, but we will be here throughout the night until tomorrow morning, bringing you updates on what we see and how it's looking for this area. Back to you. Neighbors in Aransas Pass might have noticed downtown streets closed off this weekend. That's because the city enjoyed their second annual Salsa Fest. It's been a chilly past few days in the Coastal Bend. Let's send it over to meteorologist Diamond Dixon to see if that will be changing anytime soon. And the Flower Bluff Lady Hornet volleyball team now has the glory of calling themselves state champions. Sports director Larissa Liska gives us the recap of this historic win. Your Chris 6 News starts right now. Sean Studer is retired, but that doesn't mean he's not working.
$2, please.
Chili and cheese?
Yes.
And his wife's gift for his retirement? A hot dog cart.
I don't want you just to sit down and get bored, and so I said we should do a hot dog cart.
This was my retirement gift.
But the new and unknown didn't stop at the cart. The Studers packing their Indiana lives up and heading south.
I finally said to him, you know, we're not tied to this area, and I followed you around for 20 years. I think you should go where I want to go. And he says, where do you want to go? I said, near a beach.
We made the decision to move. This is one of the first things we loaded on the trailer.
And the Studers didn't just bring along the timeless cart. They also brought back something they could really sink their teeth into: Philadelphia beef.
It took me 6 months. Tracking down the hot dogs didn't take so long, but finding a distributor took 4 months.
And regulars like Jack say that time was worth it.
You can taste the difference, you can feel the difference. It's got a different texture to it.
Little onion, because we want the nice, strong flavors.
And although their spot may be small, the hot dog cart isn't planning on going anywhere.
The reason we like it over here is because it's working class. I want to be here where you got people only got a half hour for lunch. And sometimes I feel like a bartender. I get to hear different things.
Hot dog perfection at its finest.
If you want a good hot dog, you come here.
Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, you too.
It's one thing to learn about history, but experiencing it can take you to a whole other world. And that's exactly what Axe Aviation is bringing that opportunity to neighbors here.
All right, Jackson. Put your hand here and crawl up.
Jackson Klein loves history.
So I collected a lot of World War II and just stuff through history items.
especially warplanes of the past.
I like to know, when was it brought into the war, and then when was it decommissioned, when it was taken out of the battle, and then what battles did it fight in and stuff.
And he plans on learning more about historic planes this weekend at the Warbirds Over South Texas event.
A lot of the kids that we've talked to have gone to the USS Lexington and see these airplanes as static displays, and we know those airplanes won't ever fly again.
But those same models of airplanes fly over the Rockport sky once a year.
The sounds and what they look like, it just transports you back into what it was like in 1945. All right, you're in.
All right, thanks.
Cody says Jackson's passion for aviation sounds familiar.
I was one of those kids.
He took his first airplane ride in Rockport when he was just 10 years old.
If I can do that for another kid, let's do this every year.
And even though the event is a blast from the past, it still looks towards the future.
But also learn what aviation career fields exist in the Coastal Bend, whether that be flight training, mechanics program for aviation, air traffic controllers.
So when Rockport neighbors look to the sky this weekend, they'll see a reminder of their country.
You can't help but be patriotic when you see the warbirds fly over, when you see the American flag, when you see the pilots step out of their planes and they're in their jumpsuits and they're sharing the stories. It really spreads the patriotism at the event.
Students will get to experience the Warbirds on Friday morning. And for all of y'all at home, you can join the fun for free on Saturday and Sunday starting at 8:30 in the morning at the Aransas County Airport. With your neighborhood news in Rockport, I'm Makaylah Chavez, Chris 6 News. 2024 election has become a sensory overload. Text messages, ads, candidate mailers, all with the same message. Vote for me. Now, is it just me, or are you starting to feel some sort of election fatigue? I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Corpus Christi, where I spoke to several neighbors who share one message. They're ready for it to be over.
It's just nonstop.
We're ready to get it over with.
It's tiring. I've seen enough, heard enough, so I voted today.
Early voters overwhelmed.
The text messages,
In the mail,
the commercials.
all of it.
And it's the same message over and over again.
Messages like, oh, you got to come vote. Oh, we need your vote. And then I live not far, so the signs, more signs every day.
But one way or another, the message does get across.
I'm ready to cast my vote, to have casted my vote, and ready to get back to business as usual.
Alex Hinojosa ignores the barrage.
Even though there's some aggressiveness to it,
He's one of the many voters who have already made up their minds.
I don't know if it's going to sway that person to not vote.
Early voter Tony Lima says it's not just the constant push that fatigues voters, it's the message itself.
Throwing dirt, I think. All the different opinions. You don't know who to believe.
But there's a safety valve on the horizon.
Happy Halloween!
Halloween will provide an escape of fun and fantasy from the pounding reality.
I think just to go out trick-or-treating with the kids and getting out and watching other people do it is a slight distraction, get away from it just for one night.
But then it's back to the grind.
Is it ever really over and done with? I mean, really. I'm kind of scared about the results, kind of anxious to see how it goes, and hopeful for the future.
Now, those I spoke with tell me although the ads, text messages, and mail can be annoying, there is a positive message in all of them. A reminder to do your civic duty and vote. With your neighborhood news in Corpus Christi, I'm Makaylah Chavez, Chris 6 News. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Kingsville. No matter where you go in the city, you're bound to stop at a local business. That's because local businesses make up 80% of all businesses in Kingsville. And that's not all. According to the Kingsville Chamber of Commerce, small businesses in Kingsville make up 8,700 jobs. That's nearly 70% of the city's local workforce. In 2023, local businesses generated $6.5 million in sales tax. That money goes towards public safety and roads.
Inflation has hit Kingsville hard like it has many communities, and so that money is really helping us to maintain the level of services that we are able to provide to the residents here.
One business in particular is really getting to the meat of the matter.
Hey, welcome to Beef and Bones.
That's Charlie Williams.
I was actually a butcher when I was young. I started off as a butcher's assistant.
He's now the owner of Beef and Bones Meat Market. His favorite part of the job is interacting with local shoppers.
I love it. I get to catch up with old friends. I meet new friends.
And Charlie isn't the only business owner helping his community. He says other local businesses are also stepping up for the community.
Whether it's a gift card donation, whether it's a meat donation, whether it is just our time. You know, we're the first to be there.
Even stocking their shelves with local products.
Here's some of the items that we carry locally. This is local out of Corpus Christi. This is local out of Brownsville.
One Tamuk student was so impressed with the meat market that he decided to switch majors.
Planning to go like the range of wildlife route, but when I started getting into meat science more and getting this internship, it kind of just flipped everything around. Working here is just a big impact for me.
And attracting more local businesses shouldn't be a problem. With the development of Kings Plaza, that's another 12 to 14 local businesses heading the city's way. With your neighborhood news in Kingsville, I'm Makaylah Chavez, Chris 6 News. Members of the military and first responders serve our community without question. Now, a local nonprofit is showing how much those heroes are appreciated. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Robstown. How do you say thank you to someone who puts their life on the line for you? For Burn Pits 360, a good place to start is with a meal served with lots of love. So happy. Eva McGuire and her brothers joined their dad, who's a veteran, for Burn Pits 360's Hope for Heroes dinner and gift exchange.
We're actually having about 35 kids. They're gonna get a lot of these nice little presents here.
Presents like stuffed animals, bikes.
I've got a purse, some bags, journals, and pens.
But the gifts aren't from Santa. They're from you, neighbors, community sponsors, and donors.
Thank you, HCBU sponsors! I think they're very giftful and selfless people, and they're really nice and kind.
It's a way to give back to first responders and those in the military, like Eva's dad.
I'm very thankful that he gave for our country.
Or like Estrella's dad, Peter Chapa, who's a volunteer firefighter in Annaville.
It felt very good to see my family, my kids, to be very happy.
Chapa serves his neighbors without asking for anything in return.
I love fighting fires. I mean, I love helping people out.
But when a return comes, the fire department welcomes it, especially during the season of giving.
It actually helped us out because we actually are going to some burn-ins right now as we speak.
And the gift of giving is something that everyone in attendance reciprocated, even the kids.
Hey, yeah, dart's a hard game.
Thank you.
There you go.
But the event couldn't be complete without a few fun games and a nice meal. And by the end of the night, stomachs and hearts were full for the heroes and their families.
Guys, how do you feel about the program? It's very awesome. Very awesome.
Burn Pits 360 welcomes anyone interested in volunteering or sponsoring an event or fundraiser to get in contact with them. And you can find that information on our website. With your neighborhood news in Robstown, I'm Makaylah Chavez, Chris 6 Sunrise. If you're getting your holiday dew touched up, you know you're going to be sitting here for a while. But these cut-ups know how to help you pass the time. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Kingsville. Despite the scissors, these guys aren't the snippy type. In fact, they're ready to offer the kindest cut of all. Just please, if you can just not touch the bangs. Thank you. Adrian Gonzalez is a barber.
It's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
He's also the owner of Uppercuts Barbershop on 100 University Boulevard.
It literally don't even feel like a job. You know, you come in here, we're therapists too. We really get to know our clients.
This barbershop pole has been greeting customers since the shop opened 7 years ago. And each year, they try to give back to the community.
What better way for the seniors?
They're giving back by taking a little off the top and sides free haircuts will be available to seniors on Monday, December 16th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
It's for not only local, but it's for, all around the area.
Gonzalez says it gets busy, but it's the kind of rush they like.
Seeing them here enjoying coffee and donuts in the morning, all coming in at once, that it really, we love that.
And it's not just Adrian who enjoys giving back.
I love to do it. My barbers love to do it.
Barbers like Earl,
Feels good,
who's ready to help seniors spruce up their looks.
because during the holidays, everybody wants to look their best, and it feels good to help people not only look their best, but feel their best too.
And while he's cutting their hair, he also gets to chew the fat with some of his favorites.
The classic sense of humor. The stories are always interesting, never usually a dull moment.
And it's not just seniors who get something rewarding out of it.
I take enjoyment in that. It's interesting to hear their story and where they come from and where they're at now, and what I can learn from that as well.
And if you can't make the drive yourself, but would still like to get a haircut, Human Services does offer transportation. Just call 361-595-8572. With your neighborhood news in Kingsville, I'm Makaylah Chavez, Chris 6 Sunrise. So maybe I was thinking right here? Yeah, okay. Sonny's had 2 back-to-back break-ins on January 3rd and 4th.
3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, the first break-in, they tried to remove the money and stuff from the ATM.
The attempt was unsuccessful, but there was damage to the inside and outside of the ATM. The money wasn't all they were after.
They grabbed several cigarettes from here, and then they grabbed some natural lights from here.
Leaving a mess behind for Sonny's workers to clean up.
It was a long day for all the employees.
A mess big enough to have Sonny's thinking it could have been a 2-person job. Sonny's has put up extra protection to prevent any more break-ins, but they weren't the only ones who got hit. The following week, and just down the street, El Tapatio was next.
This whole door was shattered.
The break-in happened just an hour after the restaurant closed for the night. The suspect broke the doors to get in and went after some quick change.
This machine has quarters, watches, money, and everything's completely taken out of, and there was glass everywhere.
Police say there were 2 men at the scene. The restaurant had to fix the machine and pay to replace the doors the next day. However, the glass wasn't the only thing that was shattered.
My parents have had this restaurant for a really long time, and nothing like that has ever happened.
And that's also the case for Sonny's and the Texas Ranch Club, the most recent attempted break-in.
About 3:57 in the morning, he broke this window. Thank goodness, alarm went off and Ring cameras, and I was notified. I was watching him the whole time. He never made it in, thank goodness for that. So he wouldn't destroy none of my games. I don't know what he was looking for, money, but there's nothing here to be found.
Surveillance footage also shows the suspect trying to turn off the breakers. And although the break-in was unsuccessful, it still left some damage.
You can see the broken glass here. And I had to get plywood at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was cold Tuesday morning. It was in the 20s, so hopefully this might be the new normal. Hopefully it doesn't ever happen again.
All 3 businesses have been around for over 10 years and have never had any problems with break-ins until now. The Kingsville Police Department says all cases are under investigation. 2 years ago, Cynthia Garcia died in custody of the Clayburgh County Sheriff's Department. Now, her family is suing the county and Christus Spawn Hospital Clayburgh. I'm Makaylah Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter in Clayburgh County. I obtained hours of video showing the events leading up to Garcia's death, and we want to warn you, some may find the video disturbing.
A case like this seems to just have liability written all over it.
Every single institution failed her.
The woman in this video is Cynthia Garcia. Her family tells me she was a shy and loving woman who enjoyed spending time with family and finding peace outside. But she also suffered from mental illness. She attempted suicide by taking pills in 2022. That started a sequence of events that ended with her naked and lifeless on the floor of a Clayburgh County jail cell. Her family says it should have never gotten to that point.
The medication she decided to use to commit suicide was her mental health medication for her schizophrenia. So that's very different from somebody overdosing on pills.
Her mother called 911, and Garcia was taken to Christus Spohn Hospital, Clayburgh. Court records say Garcia was acting incompliant and mildly resistant to her treatment, and added that these behaviors are common of an overdose of the medication Garcia took.
You okay? What's going on?
She overdosed, but she's refusing to let us take her over.
The hospital called police after claiming Garcia grabbed the arms of 2 nurses as they attempted to get vitals.
Who did she grab?
Me and her.
Okay, did y'all want to file charges on her? Okay.
It wasn't the first time Garcia had been seen at that hospital. She was there earlier that month, also for an overdose. Dean Malone is her family's attorney. He says Spohn knew of Garcia's suicidal ideations.
In fact, she had been at the same hospital on or about March 2nd of 2022. Same thing, overdose on pills.
Did you hit anybody? Don't be hitting these people, okay? I'm just saying, that's a good way to go to jail. I don't want to take you to jail, okay?
Body camera video shows a Kingsville police officer question Garcia's health status several times.
I wouldn't mind doing it to get her out of here so we won't have to be doing this. But is the jail going to take her? They're going to see her the way she is, passed out. I'm going to come right back here.
Despite the officer's concerns, the emergency room's treating physician, who had no emergency medicine board certifications at the time, medically cleared Garcia to leave the hospital.
She don't look like she's in any condition to walk. They actually medically cleared her?
Krish Gundu is the co-founder of the Texas Jail Project, a nonprofit that advocates for people in county jails.
You can see that from the booking paperwork that she couldn't answer any of the questions. She was in no state. And so why did the jail decide to book her in the first place? That's another question, is why did the hospital discharge her? And why did the jail decide to book her?
Once Garcia arrives at the jail, she appears to be barely conscious, something the officer indicated had happened before with patients from Spohn Clayburgh.
They brought her over from Fowl by ambulance and then they dumped her. They always do that. And I'm surprised they cleared her? Yeah.
So we could just roll her.
Just, y'all can carry her.
Garcia, unable to fully respond, walk, or exit the car on her own as one jailer yells at her and others stand by and laugh. Jailers then take Garcia to a cell in a wheelchair. She falls onto the floor while jailers laugh. Once in the cell, jailers continue to make jokes and her hospital gown is removed.
I think I hurt my back. I think I might call in a couple days.
People with serious mental illness who go seeking care are instead criminalized for their behavior or for symptoms arising from their behavior. That criminalization at the place of care is something that's the real tragedy in this story, because it's not uncommon. I mean, how absolutely degrading and dehumanizing.
The jailers checked on Garcia every few minutes. They noticed she was face down, but none of their checks involved medical intervention until a few hours later.
Everything about this case is a textbook example of what not to do.
Michelle Deitch is the director of the Prison and Jail Innovation Lab at the University of Texas, a policy resource center whose goal is to ensure the safe and humane treatment of people in custody.
Someone's on active suicide watch, they need to be monitored continuously, not 15 to 20 minutes. And supervision involves much more than just setting eyes on the person. It involves some kind of engagement, talking to the person, finding out if they are okay, seeing what their needs are, and trying to get those needs met.
When jailers finally intervened, they began CPR. She's then taken to an ambulance where she's treated for several minutes before it leaves. Garcia died the next morning at Christus Spohn Shoreline.
And she was at the hospital acting out. No one necessarily would question that she was acting out. That's not criminal behavior. She didn't have the intent to be acting out like that. She should never have been brought to the jail. And having been brought to the jail, she should never have been admitted.
The medical examiner determined Garcia died from complications due to combined drug abuse and listed the manner of death as suicide.
If you cannot trust your local law enforcement to keep you safe, especially when you're in such a vulnerable state, who can you trust? If you cannot trust your healthcare provider to provide you the very basic minimum care, then who can you trust?
We showed these videos to Clayburgh County Sheriff Richard Kirkpatrick and asked him about the lawsuit. He says when the incident occurred, it was turned over to the Texas Rangers, who found no criminal wrongdoing on behalf of the county.
Allowing someone to die when they're in your custody. That's the whole point, is you're fully responsible for them. And allowing someone to die knowing that they had just tried to kill themselves and had not been stabilized. I mean, in my opinion, that's still a murder.
The civil lawsuit filed by Garcia's mother is still pending. Meanwhile, the Texas Association of Counties is representing Claiborne County and will perform its own investigation. Claiborne County Judge Rudy Madrid, Sheriff Richard Kirkpatrick, and the Christus Bond Health System say they cannot say anything else until the lawsuit is resolved.